Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Hardcore Herbivore. My name is Javier and this is my third video, and I first of all just want to say that I'm super grateful for all of the support and likes and comments and subscriptions that I've got. It's been really awesome and a great motivation to keep doing this because it makes me feel like people are actually watching. So today we're going to talk about plant-based milks. And you know, I could tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't drink milk, but that's not what this video is about. This video is more so intended for people who either have a passing interest in trying something new, or maybe are already vegan or plant-based and want to explore what milks might be best for them. So when I became plant-based, it was a lot easier for me to switch to a plant-based milk because it wasn't something that I was used to just like sitting at the table and drinking a glass of. We use milk mostly for cereal, for smoothies, for making like a chia seed pudding or something like that. But it's very, very rare that any of us will take a glass of milk and just drink it unless it's chocolate milk, which my kids love. There's a few reasons why people would choose a plant-based milk over a cow's milk. The first being, of course, ethics, that they don't want to participate in that system anymore. Another big reason would be allergies, and then lactose intolerance. Lactose intolerance actually affects up to 65% of the population of the world, and even higher in some countries like in East Asia, where up to 70 or 100% of people are lactose intolerant. And then other like ethnicities like Jewish, African, Southern European, these people are more prone to being lactose intolerant because the domestication of animals occurred far later in those countries or in those regions. And so somewhere like Northern Europe, where, you know, domestication of cows has been going on for 10,000 years or more, their bodies have become evolutionarily used to drinking milk, whereas other places it's just not the case. So today I'm going to talk about 4 kinds of plant-based milks. Now, I know that there's many types of plant-based milks, and there's a few that I'm not going to talk about in this video that are super popular. 2 of those are hemp milk and rice milk. Now, in the 90s, rice milk was, for me, the most readily available. And actually, still today, I'm like maybe 100 years old because I like putting rice milk in my Raisin Bran, which is such like a weird and random thing to do. So the 4 kinds of milk I'm going to talk about today are almond milk, oat milk, pea milk, and soy milk. And I actually have a scorecard that I came up with that I'm going to refer to when I talk about the allergies, the environmental sustainability, the protein, and the overall taste and just my preference of these milks. All right, the first thing I want to get out of the way before I talk about any of these milks is that I am not a trained professional on this. I did not go to school for this. I'm not a food scientist, but I have done many hours of research on this subject to prepare for this video. I looked at peer-reviewed studies, I looked at medical blogs, I looked at medical research papers. There's a book called Back to Eden that's a little bit outdated but contains a lot of information about natural food products. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos about this. So I think that I have a pretty good handle on this stuff, but again, I am not an expert. I'm just, you know, someone who knows a lot about it. All right, so first, let's talk about protein, because everybody's concerned about protein these days, right? Where do you get your protein from? And it's really difficult. So let's just get that out of the way. Most people who drink cow's milk and who are proponents of cow's milk really say that cow's milk is an excellent source of protein. I'm not going to refute that. That's not what this is about. We're going to talk about the protein content of these 4 plant-based milks. So the first one, and the clear winner in this category, has got to be soy. Soy is an excellent form of protein that's clinically proven. Tofu, tempeh, these are excellent sources of protein, and soybean milk is also in that category. Coming in a hot second for the protein category is pea milk. Now, most people don't even know what pea milk is. The forefront of the pea milk industry, I guess you could call it, is a company called Ripple Foods. They started making milk out of dehydrated yellow peas, which If you're like a bodybuilder or into fitness at all, you know that pea protein powder is actually frequently used for like getting those gains, bro. So pea is an excellent source of protein. 1 cup of Ripple pea milk actually contains like 8 or 9 grams of protein, which, you know, that's more than most other plant-based milks. Oat milk is it's pretty like nutritionally nil. It's lacking in protein, but oat milk is a really high source of fiber. So there is some, you know, nutritional benefits to it, but protein is not one of them. And coming in dead last in the protein category is almond milk. In our house, we call almond milk white water. In fact, a cup of almond milk, you know, if you're pouring yourself a glass of almond milk, you're really only getting like 7 to 8 almonds in that whole cup. It's mostly water and other additives. It's not nutritionally beneficial. Most people drink almond milk because it's so readily available, and it's just kind of was like the first plant-based milk that got popular in America. So it's not a good source of protein, and it comes in basically an F on our scorecard, or number 4, as you can see here. Okay, so let's talk about allergies. I have a lot of allergies, and there's a lot of stuff in the world that I can't eat, and I've had to work around that. But when it comes to milk, luckily there's nothing really in milks that I've encountered that I'm allergic to, except for there's a couple brands of oat milk that do have barley malt extract, barley being one of the things I'm allergic to, so I can't drink it. But the winner that I've come up with in the allergy category is pea milk. I don't know anyone that's allergic to peas. I'm sure it's out there, but it's like the least likely to. And coming in second in that category is oats, because again, as I've said, you know, oats by themselves, generally people aren't allergic to. It's the other additives that go into that milk that, you know, don't agree with people. Soy milk, unfortunately, you know, one of its downfalls is that people are either allergic to soy or they have to avoid soy because of other, you know, stomach issues, stuff like that. But again, dead last in the allergy category is almonds. So many people in the world have an allergy to tree nuts, and unfortunately almonds fall into that category. So almonds, you're not doing so hot so far. The environmental sustainability of plant-based milks is a hot topic, especially when you're trying to argue that, you know, one of the bad things about cow's milk is that it's so bad for the planet. So you need to be comfortable, I think, with the milk that you're drinking or the products that you're choosing if that's a concern of yours. So let's talk about the environmental sustainability of plant-based milks. For me, the winner in this category is pea milk. It's easy to grow. It's not harmful to the environment. It doesn't take a lot of water, and I couldn't really find anything in my research that goes to show that it's not good for the planet. Second on that would be oat milk. Again, it's pretty easy to grow. There's not really anything that I found that's a problem with it. Soy milk, really, it's not that good environmentally if it comes from an Asian source. A lot of the soybeans grown in Asia, there's not a lot of regulation involved, and there's like a lot of water and maybe waste, and it's just not as good. If you're using soy that comes from an organically grown source in America, then there's a greater chance that it's better for the environment. And coming in fourth again, almonds. Now, almonds by themselves, it's not really a problem. It's just how they're grown currently that we're facing an issue where it's not that good for the environment. In California, especially where I live, the Central Valley, it's kind of a dusty place. And unfortunately, they decided to grow a shit ton of almonds there. And then afterwards, they thought, where am I going to get the water for it? And it's created a problem because they're trying to bring the water in from other sources, and it's maybe not you know, as environmentally sustainable as they thought it could be. Now, if the almonds were grown in a place that already had water, say the Pacific Northwest or somewhere like that, then it wouldn't be as much of a problem. But the reality is that it's just not grown like that. So almonds, once again. Okay, so for the final category, let's talk about taste. Now, this is a purely subjective subject, and it's just on my preferences. It's not something that, I could tell you like this is the best tasting one, because everybody's going to think differently. Some of my friends really prefer soy milk. I don't really like it. For me, the winner is oat milk. Especially in the last few years, oat milk has gained a lot of popularity, and it's really big in the barista world, in coffee shops. And it's even caused companies to make barista blend oat milk and almond milk. Now, I really want you to know, one of the things that I found out that I didn't know before is that the barista blends have a lot of sunflower oils and maybe some other sketchy oils in there, and that's what makes them a little bit thicker and makes it able to froth up into your lattes. The problem with that is that some people's stomachs don't agree with that oil, the sunflower oil, the other additives, and so if you're drinking the barista blend, it might not be so good for you. In our house, we use a lot of Ripple. I usually buy unsweetened original and then vanilla Ripple, and I use those in our smoothies in the morning. They're a little bit thicker than some of the other milks, and so it's great for a smoothie, and I find the taste to be super inoffensive. So also, as I stated before, my kids really love the chocolate Ripple, and they also love the chocolate Oatly, but I think that I would probably, if I had to choose one milk overall, I would choose Ripple to take home, or pea milk. Almond milk is pretty, it's pretty, as I said before, it's nil. It's pretty middle of the road. There's not a lot to it. So it's not really inoffensive. I've never heard anyone say like, oh, I hate the taste of almond milk, because it's just kind of no taste there at all. And then my least favorite personal is soy milk. I've never liked it. I think it smells kind of funny. But I do really recognize the other benefits of soy milk. But in this video, for the purposes of my own personal tastes, it's going to come in last. And so here's the final scorecard for all of the plant-based milks that I came up with. Once again, thanks for tuning in to a Hardcore Herbivore video. I'm not sure what the next video is going to be. I like going back and forth between music stuff and food stuff, so maybe we'll keep that, rotation going. As always, big shout out to our friends at Shelter Farm Sanctuary. We really love what you guys are doing. Big shout out to Earth Crisis for just listening to me. My last video where I talked a lot about Earth Crisis, I got some positive feedback from them about that, and I was super stoked. And thanks everybody for liking and subscribing. Don't forget to do it. Follow us on Instagram, thehardcoreherbivore.108, and we'll see you next time.